And hi everyone, welcome to Tech Down Over, where a guy from the States and a guy from Australia try to make sense of the same language they're speaking. I'm Rick Zanotti, and joining me is my friend from Australia in Melbourne, Jeff Blanchard. How are you, Jeff?
Good, thanks, Rick. It feels like forever, but it's only been 2 weeks.
And we did do 2 Blab shows in the middle of all that, but, you know, when you're back in the studio and you're looking at all the fun stuff, it just, I don't know, the studios are just much more alluring and exciting, and God, gear is good.
Definitely.
You know, if the whole world thought about gear, we wouldn't have wars. We'd be too busy just trying to get better mics.
No, if the Middle East were going out buying cameras instead of rifles and guns,
that's right, it'd be a lot better.
Much safer.
Of course, if the U.S. weren't selling them the rifles and guns, it'd be a good thing too, but that's another issue. Here we go. And we are back. And for some odd reason, we didn't hear that, which makes me wonder. Do you ever hear the audio when we play the video?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. So I wonder if that went out in the main mix. Because since we have new audio, now I'm wondering.
Oh.
But you know what?
We'll soon find out.
We'll find out soon enough, right? Actually, you know what? We just upgraded our vMix to vMix 16. And Clark, can you put up the vMix shot? So Clark is going to put up our vMix shot right now. So this is what we're seeing when we run the shows. We see all the different inputs. And in fact, if you notice on the left side, we've got these color little boxes so we can show subsets, or in this case, we're showing the mixer. Now, in the mixer, we have all of our discrete audio. So for example, and you know, you could see us in our shot. So that's, I'm in the left, you're right next to me. So that's the shot that we're currently on. vMix has a thing called desktop capture, which allows you to capture your desktop. So what I'm doing right now is we're capturing our desktop, and you are looking at the vMix mixer, which is actually quite a nice little mixer for a package like this. When you consider the price of vMix compared to some of the competition, it is amazing. Very decent, and you get really good product and quality for the money. Now with vMix, you notice that when I'm talking, my level goes up. Now Jeff, do you want to say something?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking how impressive it is on the system there, and seeing myself, looking at myself, looking at myself, looking at myself.
That's right.
It always amazes me how it does that.
And as you're talking, I'm seeing your levels go up and down. And this even has a mixer. It's got the mixer. It's got a gate, a noise gate on each individual channel. So if you don't have a compressor limiter gate like we do, this gives you the ability to actually have a not bad compressor limiter gate, so that you can use that whenever you have, you know, Skype calls coming in, or just for your own microphone. I think this is awesome. Now, Jeff, one of these days we're going to have to get you a copy of vMix. I mean, they're Australian. You got to support your country.
The only problem, I do love that, and I would get one myself, but the only reason I don't is because I'm predominantly on Mac, and that won't work on Mac.
That's true.
That's true.
You're very right. So that's why you're on Wirecast.
PC.
Yep.
But most of the things would not work properly. I've got a PC, but a laptop, but it won't take in my Blackmagic.
Right. So you see here how this is. Now I'm going to switch. Well, I can't really switch to your shot because then you'll disappear.
Then you.
So
yeah.
So if I go like this, I go into your shot. Whoops, your shot right there.
Oh yes.
And I can do a lower third. Now if we go back to the shot that we just had, the vMix shot, now you see yourself only in the output.
Yeah.
So you're in the preview, and you see the vMix shot in the other one. So now if I switch it, now you're back over here. So anyway, it's pretty cool.
And what I like with looking at the vMix, because I've had a look at the the demo version, and that it's fairly self-explanatory. The buttons make it very easy to just click to make something go live, to take it back. There's not a lot of complicated things in it. But then, on the other hand, if you want to do complicated things, it's got enough so you can do that if you want to be adventurous.
And they've added things like very complex combined effects, for example. You can combine effects now. You can combine keystrokes to make multiple things happen. They've completely redone the shortcuts and keyboard shortcuts. So now they're organized by the type of shortcut it is, which is much nicer than having to scroll down 180, 200 choices. So now you can look at the choice you're looking for, and it's very quick. Did you find it quicker when you did it this time? A little bit quicker. Now, we're not doing anything super complex, but if we want to get really complex on some of the keystrokes, they make it easier. And we have a new device that we'll have up next week. Do we have it in the room? No. It's the Novation Launchpad. Launch Control XL. That's going to allow us to control not only from vMix, but just from our controller. It has faders, so we could actually control the volume levels. We can play music out of it. And we have a whole lot of buttons, so we can just tap buttons real quickly to make all our screenshots. Kind of like this like the Logitech, but it's got more features. And it has something like 30 knobs that we could attach audio files to, and we can play audio anytime we need.
So I was going to say, so we can say, if I say something really fantastic, you can give me a fanfare.
That's correct. Or I can say, oh, maybe I'll have a button. Every time we speak, it'll say, over.
Oh, yes, we was talking in the pre-show that we was having problems talking over the top of each other. So we thought when I finished, I should just say, and that's all I want to say, over. And
then I'll answer and say, Roger. And because what we notice is sometimes I'm trampling over Jeff, and I don't do it on purpose. If he says something and then pauses, I jump in, and then he continues speaking, because we have anywhere from a 1 to maybe even 3 second delay because of our distance in Skype. Even though it's only 7,000 miles, that's not at the speed of light the way Skype runs sometimes. And as a result, we do have some latency. We don't get it all the time, but every so often there'll be a little bit of latency of 1 to 3 seconds. And so we have to be a little bit careful that we don't run over each other. Primarily when he's speaking, if there's a pause, I think he's done because 2 seconds have gone by. I jump in, and he's still talking, going, why is he always talking over me? It's kind of like our little mini Tower of Babel.
And I do exactly the same thing. I start talking, and then you haven't finished. So it seems sometimes that we're both talking over the top of each other, but it's not the case.
No.
But anyway, we've always got some.
I think we had a point right there where he was talking and I talked.
Yes.
And we have to get used to this latency thing. I wish I had something like that for wives. Wouldn't that be great? Every time a wife goes, Rick! It's like, you're gone.
I knew that was going to happen. We're going to have spots in the show now where nobody's going to talk.
It'll just be quiet. It'll be zen. It'll be very zen-like.
I was watching, there was some other one, I think it was listening to the No Agenda, and whenever they seem to have a problem, their feed automatically fills in something. And it was just strange when they kept going, and then this music kept going on, and that's the same sort of thing. When nothing happens, it just automatically fills in something.
Right.
We need that.
And that's fun, and we used to do that years ago, so we got to get back to that. So let's see, we've got some products. So what are we talking about today? Okay, now we have the new iPad, the iPad Pro. Let's show that. So the iPad Pro, we only have an image right now. Just got announced. I don't think it's coming out to what, November?
November, it says. Yes,
November, which is really unfair because we want it now.
Well, that's right. I was thinking before I'd seen anything about it, I thought, yeah, it's just another bigger iPad. I've fallen in love with it. I want one.
And the reason is it's almost a 12.9 inch. It's almost a 13-inch screen, which makes it as big as a pretty large MacBook Air. It doesn't sound like it's that heavy. It has a pretty nice keyboard that's kind of a fabric keyboard that looks pretty good. That's another $159. And then you can get the the Apple Pencil. And they said that a lot of people are saying that this is going to be the Wacom killer. That why buy a $1,000 tablet when you can buy a $1,000 iOS pad which has an equally good pencil or stylus, and now you have all of the apps you have versus a Wacom, which doesn't give you that unless you buy a Wacom laptop, which costs you $2,500. So, you know, they may be right. Maybe Wacom will have to go, And it's funny, all these years I thought Wacom was out of the U.S. It's actually a Japanese company.
Oh, I always thought they were a U.S. Based company.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Strange.
It's made in Japan. I forgot the city. It's not one of the major cities, and they're going to have to think about life because they've got 3 or 4 products. This tablet, depending on how many artists want it, especially if they're on the road, it's going to be very interesting. Not to mention it can do all the other apps and everything else. I think this is probably a good laptop replacement, just like the Surface was for Microsoft. Now, I have an issue.
Yes, definitely.
Why are they putting iOS on this versus OS X?
That's the only thing I would like to see if it was the OS X, because now that they've got with the keyboard as well, people will buy that all in one. It is sort of the laptop replacement, and I'm already thinking I've got the iMac that I'm using down here, but I've got the MacBook Pro, and I keep switching one from the studio up there, down there. But now what I've decided, I'll leave the one I want to another monitor, but then when this comes out, I can get that for the normal round the house thing, whereas an iPad was just that little bit too small. But now if you've got that big 12.9 inch with the keyboard, you've got a laptop. But there might be still that restriction because it is not the OS, the operating system 10. So
that's true. And I have one of the Samsung tablets. I've got the Samsung Galaxy Pro, which is a 12.3 inches, and the Surface is 12, I think, inches. This is 12.3, so it's a little bit bigger than the Surface. But I didn't find the Android as a tablet of that size as good as I thought I would, partly because the apps somehow weren't as great. I think you have slightly better apps, especially in media apps. There are just better video and media apps on the iPad than you can get on Samsung. And the Galaxy Pro was a complete flop. I think 3 people have it, and I'm one of them. I don't know anybody who's got that. and I even asked Verizon, how many did you sell of those? They go, I think you're it. So it's like, that's great.
Because I've actually seen, because you got that when I was there, I think, but it did look fantastic. And if you get the right apps, but the quality of it, you can't falter it. It's excellent, but it's just the backup with the things that you can connect up to it. But I saw it there, and it's just a fantastic looking thing. The video quality is excellent, but as I said, it wins or fails depending on what things you can do on it. One of the things I just saw with that, which really I just think Apple just do so nicely, it might not have anything to do with the product. Well, it does a bit, but just the way that they make you want to have it. If you click to my shot, I've got a full screen. Leave me on full screen. I'll just show you something. Okay, and now this is the Apple site, and this is just scrolling down. Just love the way that they do this.
Oh, the parallax, yeah.
Oh, I just think that's fantastic. The way that they just the way they do that. They did that with the iMac, but just really makes you want to buy it.
Well, they're marketing experts. Did you see the video at the in the rollout? They showed the video, and it's all in space. It looks like this space thing coming into Earth. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't get time to go through that, and I didn't bother. There were so many people commenting about all the things through that. I've watched them before, but I get a bit disappointed because you hear all the information if you don't watch it live, and you.
A little bit of latency issue.
Phone.
Jeff, you're breaking up a little bit.
Of the presentation on that.
Yeah, you froze a couple of times on that one.
It's just Skype. It just quite often does that, doesn't it? But this new iPad Pro, it looks like as well they've concentrated a little bit more on video, but I don't know why. It's got an 8-megapixel iSight camera with the 1080p with 30 frames, and it's also got the 120 frames a second for slow motion.
Yeah, and you know, I just wonder how many people are really going to use this huge 13-inch to go pointing at people with a little teeny-weeny lens. It doesn't make sense.
Then again, have you been up to the Griffiths Observatory lately?
No.
You go up there and look at how many people have got their iPads and that taking photos.
Oh, really? On the iPads?
Very many, not very many cameras, but they're all got with their iPads.
Interesting.
And I just think it'd be much easier to take a camera with you than the iPad on your holiday, I think. But a lot of people do that. Also, as well, one thing I just don't understand, they've also included the Apple Pay. So you can use your Apple Pay with...
Yeah, you just have to swipe
that out your handbag.
Yeah, you just have to swipe your iPad. It's going to really be cute.
Yeah, I just thought that was quite strange on that. But also, as well, did you see the release of the iPhone 6 Plus as well?
Yeah, I'm just not into. You know, I left my iPhone 3-4 years ago, and I'm not looking back. I don't miss my iPhone. I really like the Android phones. This Samsung Galaxy I have right now, I love it. It's good. It's the first good phone I've had in 2 years. So I'm happy.
I must admit, my Note 4, I've been going out taking a bit of video of it lately. Yeah. Well, the only thing that annoys me is it does such a good quality. I said, why have I spent all that money for decent other video cameras? This seems to do a much better job without just point and shoot. It does a really good job.
But it doesn't really. It does a good job, but if you look at the details, they're really not there. But it still looks great.
It's great. But one of the things you cannot replace with these things, you just cannot see what you're doing on a phone. You just point it and hopefully you get the shot that you want, but you can't look at what you're doing because with the sunlight, and let's face it, most of the time you're filming in daylight, you just can't see the down screen. So, but with the new iPhone, by the looks of it, they've upped all the specs on the camera and that to, I think it's a 12 megapixel or 20 megapixel.
It's actually small. It's only 12, which is interesting because the Android ones are in the 18 to 20 range now.
But I think they still increase it from the other ones with the pressure from people just wanting a higher spec one. But it'll be interesting to see. And my phone comes up for replacement in about November, so I'll have the option. I might just get the iPhone 6 just so I can get it and have a play with it, really. So because there's so many new things on there, and I do like the way it takes some of the video on there, like the time-lapse type stuff on there. I tried that with my Galaxy the other day, and that was quite fun. But I thought my hand was getting a bit tired going for a walk for about 40 minutes with the time-lapse on to get about 30 seconds worth of video. But it was quite good quality in that.
Now, I tell you, when you go to look at the iPhone 6 or 6S, whatever they call it, take a look at the Note 5 and the Galaxy Edge. The Galaxy Edge is absolutely, let's see, what's the Galaxy 6 Edge Plus, 6 Edge Plus, any stupid names. Anyway, take a look at that. It is art. It looks nicer than it looks way nicer than the iPhone, and it looks nicer than the Note 5, even though the Note 5 is attractive. The 6 Edge Plus is gorgeous. The industrial engineering is absolutely beautiful on that. Not sure how they got it that nice, but you go and you just go, my gosh, this is beautiful. The edges, the bezels, it's just really pretty.
And like you see now these days, I don't know why they even concentrate calling them mobile phones, because most people, it's your PC in your pocket that happens to make a call.
That's true.
That's irrelevant, because they all can make a call. None of them do anything better for that. You dial a number, call, you have a few memories, that's fine. But it's the other things that it does that people want. They don't care about the phone really anymore.
No, that's true. And I'm still wondering what happens in about another 10 or 20 years when everybody who puts their phones in their pockets and on their belts winds up with some sort of weird disease from those phones, because I still think they radiate probably more than they should. We will find out, won't we? Stay tuned.
Well, that's that doesn't matter. They'll be evenly toasted because they've got the phone in the pocket that's toasting them that way, and they've got probably the 80-inch TV screen that's got, I'm sure, because you can feel the heat on some of them, so,
yes.
you know, the radiation. So, we haven't had them out that long. We'll be reckoning about 50 years something must come out about those sort of things.
Yeah.
So quite strange on there.
Yep.
But then again, there's lots of things that we've done in the past that even that's come to be bad, but still not the whole population suffering from it. But hey, that's progress,
true.
I suppose, isn't it?
Now this week, or I guess either this week or last week, Apple released Final Cut Pro X 10.2, and it looks pretty good from what I'm seeing. They've added a lot of functionality. Did you want to talk about any of that?
Now, well, just one thing. What they released the other week was not 10, but they released 10.2.2.
Oh, 0.2. Okay, 10.2.2.
Yeah,
sorry.
Because they released 10.2 about 3 months ago.
Okay.
But in the 10.2.2, but mainly what that has was a bit more support. Like they've got some Sony XA,
XAVC,
VCL, and Panasonic, and the Panasonic. What was the Panasonic? Well, I can't read my little notes. The AVC was Intra 4.4.4 up to 4K resolution, and that, and the Canon XF, mainly sort of compatibilities with the system, different camera codecs and that, and then export interlace H.264 videos on that. But a lot of those ones, the last one was just to fix a lot of different things in there, and the asset management system can be included in the library backup when sharing the file, whereas it couldn't before. So they know your file structure on that. So and fixes render errors that may have occurred with the 3D text. And that's one of the big things with the 10.2 that they introduced, was the 3D text feature on that, which I don't know about you. As soon as they introduced that, I could see on the TV, you could see commercials coming up. So, oh, they've just upgraded. And you, when you're not into this sort of equipment, you just watch the telly and you just say, yeah, that's great. And then as soon as you have it yourself, you hang on, there's that stock video, there's that stock photo, there's that stock movie, and all the features that come in there. And they've also introduced it in the 10.2, the simple templates and that on there. But they also, at the same time, released the update for motion as well, which took into account some of the different upgrades on the Final Cut Pro. But it's really is coming to I really do love the Final Cut Pro. I use Adobe Premiere Pro as well, because I've got my Creative Cloud subscription, so I've got to use both of them. But really, I still love the Final Cut Pro, the way when you just move scenes, it snaps into the line. You don't have to remember, or hold this key so it will push the other ones out. I tend to do in Premiere, I sometimes put a clip there and I thought, oh, why have I lost that? Because I put the clip over the top of something else and didn't do it quite correctly. Whereas Final Cut, it's just such an amazing package. I think I talked last week on that one of the things I like with the Final Cut is I can put an effect on a 30-second clip, but I don't have to put it on the 30-second clip. I can just put it in the 5 seconds that I want that. And then I don't have to break that clip up into 3 sections. So that's the one with the effect and go back to normal. It is just such a good flow, but still I think a lot of the professionals are a little bit dubious of it. But there are some making loads of major pictures with that as well. So
now it's interesting because I'm sorry, that effect thing, I don't know anybody else who does that. I don't think Premiere does. You have to cut the clip up. So that's a nice feature.
There's a lot of features with the Final Cut, and it's like all the things with Apple. There's so much things there that they don't talk about, that you just have to stumble across. But if you look at any of Larry Jordan's things, he goes through a lot of those little tidbits, and a lot of the things when he talks about it, people say, is it ready for professional use? And all he does is shows them things that will take him 2 or 3 seconds to do, which might take you 10, 15 minutes to do on another system. So, well, what do you want? It's all up to you whether you want. But some people get put off thinking it's iMovie. I think that's the main thing.
And
if
I think
iMovie wasn't there, nobody would have.
Right, and I think that's only because it looked like iMovie when it first came out. It was similar. So immediately everybody went, oh, iMovie, I'm not going to get paid any more money. And if you really look at the editors, a lot of it's, I'm not going to get paid any more money. They're not really looking at functionality. They're just bitching because they're not going to make as much money because it looks like iMovie. But, you know, the reality is a lot of the video tools are getting easier to use. Now, you can still buy Avid and even Premiere to a point. They're harder. Yeah. Do they have to be harder? No. They don't. And I think that's the old myth of, well, if I'm a professional, I need hard to prove it. No, that's incorrect. If you're a professional, you're good at what you do. You understand story, you understand effects, you understand movement, timing, color. That's the difference between the professional and somebody who's a novice or just an enthusiast who may know some of it, but doesn't have the whole background nor the understanding of why they're doing it. You know, it's like if you're a color grader or a color correction person, you know, that means you understand color, lighting, emotion, all of that plays into color correcting. It's not just saying, okay, I want to make that green to blue. Okay, well, that's nice. But what else do you do with it? How do you pop? You know, I think I sent you a clip from Color Finale where the guy takes a clip of something. It was pretty flat. It wasn't very attractive. And with just a couple layers and a couple keystrokes, makes a beautiful movie clip out of it. And that's where you go. That's where it becomes a movie, cinematic versus just I've got something I took and it doesn't look that good, but hey, I'm done. It's just that little extra that makes it so much better.
And I was having that conversation with somebody else during the week, and I think that's exactly true. It's some people you can see they know the product excellently because they show you that they know it by putting in all these flashy transitions. They don't understand the story. They don't understand what they're doing. Whereas, like you see, a true editor or a colorist, it doesn't matter how they do it. No matter what tools you've got. Like I've got speed grade. I've got all the color tools I want, and I can change it to look all different colors in the rainbow, but it will look rubbish. Whereas a true talented person just knows how it looks, and just because you put 500 transitions in it, that you've got that doesn't make it look good. It's the things that when some.
And we lost Jeff for a second.
Oh.
No, you're back. You froze. Still
Anything
frozen.
Wrong about Apple, and then they cut me off. No, I'm back again.
You're back. Over.
I must have. I think it's Apple, blocking me out if I say something about Apple and I'm not paid to do so or something like that.
Yeah, it must be the new Apple NSA contract. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say was a lot of the things when people between the Final Cut and the Premiere they don't like. Well, a lot of things from Final Cut that people said they didn't like, they've ported and now they think it's really great, but it's in Premiere. So one of the things they used to do in Final Cut, you used to go to Motion and you could create an effect,
right,
and save that effect, say on a title, but save it as a template so it was available in Final Cut. So you open it in Final Cut and just type in the new text.
Yep.
Now they've done the same thing with After Effects. You can create a text style template, save it as a template into Premiere Pro and just click on it and just change the text. And now they view the thumbnails of the videos in Premiere like they do in Final Cut. But there's a lot of crossover. But it makes best for two great products. I wouldn't say I would like to say I'd use both of them, and I do actually. But I wouldn't like one of them to go and the other one to stay. They've both got a place in the market.
Now, speaking of products, I've been playing with the Sony Catalyst production suite, which includes Catalyst Browse, Catalyst Prepare, and Catalyst Edit. And I'm liking it. I like it a lot. I think I'm getting an idea of their vision. And they have a new version, not yet announced. Well, I should say not yet. There's no release date announced, but it looks really good. What it can do is it can add a lot more functionality to the edit side of it, better workflows on the prepare side of it, more capabilities in browse. It's got pretty darn good color correction with good color wheels, some grading abilities that actually look very good. And you could do that at the clip level, right now at the track level, or then move it over to the edit where it edits the whole thing. You have your in points, your out points, and then you've got one of the best fading abilities. And when the new one comes out, you're going to have cross fading and other fading very, very easy. And so I find it just a very easy tool to work with. Titling is very easy, moving things around. I really like what they've done. It just needs a little more. And I posted that this week on Twitter that I said, I really like the product. I wish it could do more. And I get a tweet from Sony saying, your wish is our command.
Our command.
and he sent me the press release from IBC in Amsterdam. And guess what? They're putting a ton more stuff, pan, zoom, crop. So you've got, in essence, the ability to do keyframes. They've added a ton of stuff, and it looks like it's going to be really promising. From what I'm reading, it is going to replace Sony Vegas. And I hate to say it, but none too soon. Vegas is powerful. I downloaded the trial again. Even though I have Vegas 12, I downloaded the trial of 13. The interface is just gosh awful horrific. The colors they chose are puke. I mean, they're just horrific. And I go, no wonder I hate this now. I can't stand the layout anymore. It looks like pre-1980s. It's just horrible. And you can change it a little bit, but I didn't find it that changeable or that good. And I just don't like it anymore. And this is something I did for 10 years. And now I've lost
it. Does look, because it does look dated. Does look like a looks like a pre-Windows program, doesn't it?
It does. It's very dated looking, and what I'm seeing is just something I find hard to work with in terms of look and feel. You know, things have changed in the last 15 years, and they haven't changed much with it. And I think that's going to hurt them. And I think Sony realized it, and that's why Catalyst came about. And all the Sony guys are going, oh, but it's no longer Vegas, and I don't want it because it's not Vegas. Wah. Get over it. Grow up. You know what? The Catalyst has, in some respects, a better interface, more readable for sure. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's evolving. This was first step, and I think it might be a good hit. And they do something nobody else does. Let's say you like, okay, Jeff, you like Premiere, and you like Final Cut Pro. If you use Sony Catalyst and you want to edit and do everything, you can set up your whole storyboard the way you like it. That video is almost done. But I want to add a couple more effects that aren't supported yet. And you know, I want to do it in Final Cut Pro. Hey, look, there's a button that says export my timeline to Final Cut Pro.
Final Cut Pro.
Or, hey, you know, today I want to make it Premiere. So you don't lose any of the features. In fact, that's a feature that came out of Vegas. Vegas could go to other editing tools, and they're doing the same thing with Catalyst, and I think they're doing it as well or better. And I find Catalyst very, very useful for the organization, the storyboarding capability, the quick edits at the clip level. And that's priceless. I think they did a real good job on that. Then I can send it wherever I want or finish it in edit if I so desire. And it runs with 5K footage very well. I'm sorry, did I say 5? 4K footage very well. 2K footage, 4K footage, and probably 8K soon. So it's not bad at all. Now, I've been contemplating what kind of new camera to get in the future. Panasonic has not yet announced any new GH4. So I'm curious. It's been about a year and a half. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to do a new one? Is something else going to happen? I don't know yet. Have you read anything or heard anything?
I haven't as yet. No, I've just been seeing a lot of your new Sony one. There seems to be a lot of talking about that. The RX, is it the RX10 yours?
RX10 Mark II. Yep.
Yes, everybody seems to be doing that. Or
it's a very good bridge camera. Yeah, it's a very good bridge camera, and I'm hoping that they come up with an FZ1000 from Panasonic Mark II, because that is a good camera. I sold mine to Alex. He's one of our graphic artists here. He loves it, and I actually loved it too, but I figured I only needed one bridge camera. But I miss some of the features of it, and I love the interface. I think the interface is still better than Sony.
Yes, I still love my Panasonic one. I was just looking at some pictures last night from it, and I thought, gee, that does a great still shot as well. Some of them came out really well, and I thought with not a lot of effort, and I thought it does such a good job, and the video quality, and it's such a light camera to carry around. That's the thing I tend to use. I throw it in the car or take it with me a lot of places where I won't take the Canon because it's just 3 times as heavy. Now, going back to that Catalyst, Rick, is that Catalyst just Windows based, and how much is it costing?
No, the Catalyst runs Windows and Mac same way, and it is currently $399 for the whole studio. Not a bad price at all. And I think there's probably a free upgrade when the new one gets released, which is imminent. I think it'll be out probably, I'm assuming within a couple of months, a couple of weeks to a month, because they showed a lot of it already, meaning they're close.
I'm going to download it. And it said the server wasn't available or something at the time, so
interesting.
I'll try it again later and find another way. But I'm sure if I go to the Sony site, there'll be the free download. How long does that last you? Is it 30 days?
I think it's 30 days.
Or just a limit?
I think it's 30 days.
Just give you some of them give you the full thing, but it won't allow you to save your projects or something like that, which is a good idea. So they give you full access, but it's no good if you can get full access if you can't save your work. So.
Now, I'm tempted also to get that color finale for Final Cut Pro because, I think it does an incredible job of color correction and grading. They have a layered approach, so any effect you put on is layered over another effect, over another. And at any point, you can say, I really like this, but I'm going to take out layer number 2. And you haven't lost any of the previous work you've done, which on some of them you do. You go backwards, you host. So this is all layered, kind of like nodes in DaVinci Resolve. And that's great. That does a really good job of giving you what you need without really having to sacrifice anything in the process. And I really, for $95, that's a great color correction tool. So I'm planning on getting that very soon too. And it'll probably force me back into Final Cut Pro a little bit. I've been out of it for a while.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, if you do get into that, it's a good way to do, because I just looked last night and I bought an upgrade package for about $99 from CoreMelt. And that, they do SliceX and TrackX.
Oh, yes.
And I also noticed part of that package was the color correction you were saying, so color finale. So there's a tab in there that's got a color finale to track something. So I'll just have to investigate what that does before I go and buy color finale.
Yeah, you may already have it.
But I mean, if you ever look at the the Final Cut Pro, when you do the CoreMelt, the tracking is just fantastic in there. You can do all this in After Effects and that, but it's so hard to do.
Right.
Even though they say it's easy, but the ones in Premiere Pro, Final Cut, is fantastic. Like, you just say, for instance, you've got a bus going down the street, like on Santa Monica Boulevard, you've got a bus going down there. You can quite easily, with that, just put a square box on the side of the bus and have Tech Down Over playing on that while it's going up the street.
In fact, you did that, I think. You have that on your website, don't you? A sample of that?
I think I do. I'm just trying to think where I can't remember if I've done that on there.
I thought it was on your website. If not, upload it to the Tech Down Over, so we'll have a copy of it too.
Yeah,
that was cool. I remember I saw that. Was that a Santa Monica bus, in fact?
It probably would be, because I do have a few Santa Monica clips on there, because one of my favorite places I always end up going to when I go down there. But I don't know if you can see my.
Go back to your shot.
Do my screen and that there. See, this is another Final Cut. Every time I seem to do this on the screen, I crash, don't I? But see, like, this is a bus going into Santa Monica Boulevard, just coming up over the bridge, and I can do this as just a little effect. I've got it on the bus. See that? See on the bus, and I've got the video tracked onto and just do that up there, so that follows with the bus. So I just did that on there, so it was quite good. I just like that, how you can track and see that scene's on the front of the bus.
Yeah.
And then I end up, but it's so easy to do. You don't have to go out of Final Cut to do those sort of things. So it's just fantastic, all the different things that you can get in there. So quite often I go back to Final Cut to do some of the trickier things, because it's much easier and fun to do in that. So I'll get back up. get back to me. So, but
that was
you can see.
That was talking over, the music was talking over you a little bit. No, the people were a little bit loud coming in on the video. Because I think you're mixing, the audio is coming in together.
Oh. Oh. I didn't realize there was sound coming through from that. So.
Yeah, we could hear it was like all the people talking, some kid was talking.
Oh. I didn't realize, because now I'm doing the virtual microphone, usually none of the sound used to come through. You see, but
now you're getting it all.
I didn't realize it was coming through. Yeah, so,
well, Jeff, guess what?
It can come through.
Guess what? We are at the end of our time. We've been going for about almost 50 minutes. It goes fast. But for all you people watching in the recording, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you like it, and give us some feedback. Let us know what you like, what you want to talk about. Give us some subjects. We, Jeff and I love video and audio and all sorts of stuff. So, but if you want to hear something else, other tech stuff, let us know what you like, and we will try to make it happen. But Jeff, any plans for the weekend? Any fun stuff?
No, gardening this weekend. I've got to do something really mundane. I'd love to. I've said I've relocated my all my studio stuff down here so I can get stuck into some videoing, because it's getting to be summer. So the smaller the area, the better the air conditioner will work in that. And so I thought I'll get myself set up in the smaller area, ready for the warmer weather coming.
That sounds good. That sounds good. We're going to go, I'm not sure if we're going to go down towards Hollywood to get some Oakley glasses for Leslie. I think she has to wait till the optician's in, but they do prescription glasses, and she wants her special glasses, so we're going to go down and take a look at that. Should be fun. Hopefully. It's going to be hot out there, so maybe we won't go down. We'll see. We've been almost 100 degrees in Camarillo for several days, and that's rare for out here. 97 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 36 centigrade. That's pretty hot.
Well, here it said it's spring, so the day it turned spring. I don't know how it knows, but all of a sudden it just changed. So it's got that summer feel in the air now. So
interesting.
Quite different.
Yeah, but we're going to be heading into fall pretty soon, so we're looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll cool off. Then about next week it'll be cooler than this week, so we're definitely looking forward to it.
And don't forget to remind me when you change your clocks, because that will make it.
That's going to be in early November, I think. First week or second week. First week of
changing first. I was changing probably first week of October. We changed very early here.
Okay. Are you going spring forward, fall back? You're going back 1 hour, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What time is it right now? Your time?
It's 4 minutes past 9 Saturday morning.
Past 9. Okay. And we're 4 o'clock over here. Okay. Quite a difference. Like I said, I'm going to try to get Martin and/or Tim from vMix to join us. I've got Dave Dugdale, who said he'll come on. I have been trying to get Peter Gregg, but he's hard to get a hold of. But I think he'd be fun to have on. And then maybe I'll try to get Matt from Art of the Image. I like Matt too. So we're going to get some more people on pretty soon. It'll be fun.
That'd be great. You're not still recording, are you?
Yes, we are. We haven't finished.
That's okay.
Yeah, we haven't finished yet. I accidentally hit the wrong key, so... So anyway, well, I guess we should end this because we've got to get going too. So, hey, Jeff, have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy that gardening work, and we'll try to stay out of the heat over here. We can't even water anymore. Our lawns are all dead. It's just really rather irritating. And because they won't buy the water. You could just buy the water. They always used to, but not now.
Not now.
No. Our illustrious leadership is just beyond belief. But anyway, they say California is the forerunner of the country. We're dead if that's true.
That's right.
Oh, we're dead at that point. Well, anyway, you have a great weekend. And for all you people watching, I hope you enjoy the show and give us some feedback. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.